everybody and welcome to our virtual Meet the Teacher. I'm Miss Evans and I teach 1E, and we also work with Mrs Grotsky and Mrs Morton-Sherwood as our one-to-one TA.
And I'm Miss Clark, and in my class I have Mrs Pedley, I have Mrs Derlecker and also Mrs McIver. So we have our PPA, our planning time, which takes place on a Tuesday afternoon. So the children will have Shine, which is their PE sessions, or they will also do PSHE.
Our class PE lessons are going to start next week, so week 4. What will happen is we will have PE on a Thursday afternoon, but we will alternate weeks. So we will begin on week 4 with 1E having PE. So if 1E can come in next Thursday in their PE kits, then the following week will be 1C, but we will communicate via the WhatsApp groups to remind you of when you need to come in. PE kit.
So lunches can be booked in the normal way, and we just like to remind you to try and help your children to use their knives and forks, as this helps a lot in school.
So maths in year 1, I'll just run through some of the objectives that we cover and our different methods that we use. So in place value, our main objectives are to count to and beyond 100 forwards and backwards, so that's from any given number. To write numbers 0 to 20 in numbers and in words, which is really important, and to be able to count in multiples of 2s, 5s and 10s. In addition and subtraction, we look to add and subtract 1-digit numbers to 2-digit numbers to 20, including 0. To solve one-step problems involving addition and subtraction, and to use and apply number bonds to 20. We have to teach to 20, but we have noticed that it wasn't covered in reception number bonds to 10, so that's something we need to master first. In multiplication and division, we look at multiplying using objects, pictures and arrays, and dividing using objects and pictures. And we solve one-step problems involving multiplication and division. And then in fractions, we recognise and find a half and a quarter of any shape, object or quantity. The way that we teach our maths is through a mastery approach, so we use white rows primarily and follow that kind of way of teaching. So we work on a concrete, pictorial, abstract method, which is where they learn to do things first with objects, and then we do a pictorial method, which will then help them when completing the abstract. So if we were doing pictorial method, for example, 6 divided by 2, we would look at the second number, which would be how many we are dividing between. So that would be 2. So we would draw 2 circles, and we would then sort our objects or our dots into the 2 circles evenly. Oh no, technical hit. So we can see that 6 divided by 2 would equal 3 when it's split into 2 equal groups. Our maths planets in year 1 is slightly different to reception, so we don't have the booklets anymore when we're in year 1. We sit maths planets like the rest of the school, where they do a 5-minute quiz on a Friday, which they do find very exciting. So we will start that next week. On Friday we will send home an overview, and all children will start on level 1A, which is writing numbers from 0 to 10. So it's just blank boxes that they will just fill in, and they need to make sure they are writing them with no reversals. Then 1B will be 11 to 20, and then 1C will be 0 all the way up to 20. When they pass a sub-level, they get an A5 certificate, and when they pass a C of a level, they get an A4 certificate. And at the end of level 4C, they get a bronze badge, 6C a silver badge, and 8C a gold badge. If we find that your child is struggling with a particular level, we might send home a list of questions that they need to practice just to help get that style of question, because it's often just applying it to that situation that they might struggle with. Other ways that you can help with maths: when using money, encourage your child to count out money and pay for things in the shop using the correct change. Discuss the time with your child and at different points of the day. For example, the clock shows 12 o'clock, so it is now lunchtime. The clock shows 7 o'clock, it is bedtime, and so on. And practice chanting and taking it in turns to say numbers and sing songs to practice your times tables.
So English in year 1, we are going to now think about the reading and writing. So in regards to reading, every week the children will change their reading books on a Friday, as well as their library books. We are also going to be giving them a challenging reading book once they have arrived, which will also only be changed on a Friday. So make sure every Friday the children have these 3 books in their book bags. The Reading Bug Challenge will now have started as they've all got their reading records. So once they have read 10 times at home, they will get a certificate. If they've read 50 times, they will get a book from the head teacher. And this can include the school books, the library books and the challenging books as well. So the reading objectives, this includes vocabulary and word reading. So vocabulary, can they discuss meanings of new words that we have taught them and link this to previous words that they already know? And can they discuss a wide range of stories beyond their own reading level? So stories they might read with you or stories we've covered in class which alone they wouldn't be able to read. And word reading, can they think about the 40 graphemes that they should already know, which we have covered in reception and in year 1, so the smaller units of sound, not the digraphs. And can they use those phonics skills, so being able to decode the words by segmenting and blending them together to be able to read the words in their stories. And response, can they use the clues in the text to identify how a character may be feeling? For example, are they hunched over to look sad? Do their eyes look down? Are they frowning? Can they use those clues to work out how that character feels? And can they make simple predictions based on their own experiences? So how might they feel if they were the character in that position? Writing, so we're going to do a range of different things in our English with writing, stories, instructions, poetry, information, letters, and they're going to be encouraged to use the resources around the room to help them do this. And our objectives with regards to grammar, can they use the conjunction and to list and to join sentences? Is that right, Deja? Yeah. The conjunction and. Should I say that down? I think it's fine. Okay. Do it again now. Grammar objectives. Can they use the conjunction and to list and to join sentences? Can they use the present and past tense accurately within their writing? Can they use capital letters and full stops accurately? This is something we've been covering recently. And can they begin to use question marks and exclamation marks and realise when this should be used rather than a full stop? And the phonics homework. So every Friday we will send home their homework books, the small yellow books, which has the overview of the sounds that we are covering this term. We started this last week. There will be a small sticker in the top which explains the sounds we've covered this week and what we'd like them to do at home. And due to lockdown, we have had to recap some of the sounds that they may have already covered in reception, but this is just helping us to understand where they are and helping reinforce that learning. It won't be tested, but we'd like you to practice this at home and really help them build up their sound knowledge. Weekly spelling, this will begin next week, so in week 4. Weekly spelling, this will begin in term 4 and will be tested every Friday. Will be written in their homework book and the spelling will be on the website and on the classroom doors for you to have a copy of. And we are still going to be using Tapestry, which you will have had access to through reception. We are going to be doing this in the afternoon with our new continuous provision approach, which is a bit similar to the style of learning in early years. However, with them having the group learning that we are offering in year 1, we won't be able to post as many observations as you may have been used to in early years, but we will try and do some in the afternoons. And we are happy to be contacted on here or...
Okay, so this year and moving forward, our wider curriculum is a really, really important aspect of school. So we have had lots of new logos designed. Here is an example of 4 of them that represent each subject. And children will cover every subject at some point throughout the year, but you will get a yearly overview to see when we are doing which different things. Every child will get in their books at the start of each unit a pupil organiser, and on here, this is our one for my class, my school, my road, which we are currently covering. It says our objectives that we will be covering at the top, so we will make a plan of our classroom and add labels to show where things are, follow a route around school, draw a map where things are around my school, look at a map of Bradley Stoke and label where Wheatfield Primary School is, and find my house on a map and mark my route to school. So it makes it clear for the children to see what they will be learning. Then we've got a different vocabulary that we'll be covering in this time and a simple definition that the children can understand what it means. And then some key questions that we look at the start and then at the end to see how much we've learned as a class so we know what we have done. you will get a newsletter sent out to you which will detail all of the objectives for all of the subjects that we will be covering this year.
So on our website we have a Year 1 page, which is where you'll find a range of useful resources. There is the common exception words that you can have a look at with your child to help them recognise them, as this is really important for them to be aware of before the end of the year. There are a recap of the phase 3 and 5 sounds, and there's also sound mats that are available on Twinkle, which are very useful to use. There is the overview of the maths planets, which we just previously spoke about earlier, and there is the Spelling Shed permission letter for you to download and sign.
Yeah, on the note of the Spelling and Maths Shed, so they're a joint website. I'm not sure if you had access to it on reception, but those of you with older siblings will know about it because it is well used higher up in the school. If you don't have a login and would like a login, print off the letter and send in the permission form. We can sort out a login and get a login sent home for you as soon as we can. And finally, we are currently not allowed any volunteers into school due to COVID restrictions, but as soon as we are allowed volunteers, we would love support, parent helpers, anyone to do reading. Little jobs for us are always great, but you will need to complete an induction again, even if you've been in before. Wheatfield Plus and Shine are running in 3 separate bubbles, so there is a Year 1-2 bubble for us and can be booked in the normal way, and there are spaces in every breakfast club, after school club and sports club. And if you have any questions, please grab us at the start or at the end of the day. And we have hopefully covered everything there, but we might have missed something. If you have any more questions, just come and ask us. We're always happy to talk, or if it's something you want to discuss in more detail, we can arrange a phone appointment or a quick chat at the end of the day. Thanks for watching.